Welcome to a new episode. Today I present two useful new nodes, XY Plot and Find and Replace. Plus, I will talk about my suspended GitHub account and where you can find the workflows and nodes now. I was working on a new project and told Claude to push updates to GitHub. In the middle of that, it started giving me a lot of errors. When I checked the GitHub page, I no longer had access. My account was suspended. No email, no reason, just a message saying it was a violation of the terms of service. That happened Friday morning. I am recording this video on Monday, and I still have not received a reply from them. Just a reminder that with any free or paid subscription on any platform, this can happen. It is always a good idea to have a backup when possible. I was using GitHub for Pixaroma Nodes and Workflows. I still had backups of all the files locally, but I had to find a way to recreate all the steps and automation needed to publish ComfyUI nodes in the registry. I did not really have another option, so I had to move my workflows and nodes to a different platform. The closest alternative to GitHub was GitLab, so I moved the workflows and nodes there. Let us hope I do not have the same problem with them. So now Pixaroma nodes are on this page. Leave some stars if you can. What I lost is the information in the manager that shows when a project was last updated and how many stars it has on GitHub. That information no longer appears because it is not hosted on GitHub anymore. On Discord, I created a new channel called Pixaroma Nodes, where you can add suggestions and report bugs. Now about the workflows and resources. The main hub is now pixaroma.com. I created a website on GitLab and attached my domain to it. So now you can easily access YouTube, my free YouTube course, the ComfyUI workflows for the episodes, and also join Discord. If you click on ComfyUI workflows, there is now a new GitLab page on a subdomain, workflows.pixaroma.com. Here you can find all the episodes from this year's series, starting from episode 1 up to episode 20, with more coming every week. You can easily search by episode number or by words found in the episode title. There are also buttons for different categories. The download button downloads a zip file with the workflows. These are released on the GitLab page, and this button downloads that zip archive directly. You can also watch each new episode using this button. So the good part about being suspended from GitHub is that I was forced to create a new workflow page that looks better and is easier to use. I hope you like it. Let me continue with ComfyUI. The easy installer now has bigger buttons, since some people said the buttons were too small on large screens, so Ivo made some changes. Thanks Ivo for all the work. Now you can use Update Easy Install, and it should update Easy Install plus Pixaroma nodes. It now takes the nodes from GitLab instead of GitHub. Then, if you go to the Workflows folder, you can extract the Episode 21 Workflows folder there. When you open ComfyUI, it should appear in the Workflows tab, and you should see today's workflows there. Let me start with the Find and Replace node first. Here we have ZImageTurbo combined with Gemma 4, which we used in a previous episode, so I will not explain it again. Each time we generate a prompt with AI, we get that text that we can connect to our workflow. But the problem is that many times we want to adjust that prompt in a way that works better, either by removing or replacing some words. For that, this Find and Replace node is very helpful. Let me show you a simplified version in a new workflow so it is easier to understand. Search for the node called Find and Replace Pixaroma. Then you can add another node that outputs text or a string, let's say text Pixaroma, and I add a simple prompt with a dog and a cat. Then I connect the nodes, and maybe I also export it to a show text node, which we usually connect to the text encode node where the positive prompt is. So if I run the workflow now, there is no change. I get the same prompt. In the find box, I put, for example, dog. If I do not add what to replace it with, it will delete that word. And if I add mouse, you can see how dog is in red and crossed out and mouse is in green. So the dog is replaced with mouse. When I run the workflow, I get that result with a mouse instead of a dog. You can add another rule, and you can turn the rules on or off however you want. So let's say I want to find cat and replace it with chicken. Now when I run it, you can see both the dog and the cat are replaced. To remove a rule, you can use this X. Let's say we have dogs instead of dog. If I select whole word, it does not find the whole word dog, so it leaves the word dogs untouched. If I disable that, it replaces dog inside dogs with mouse, so now it reads mouses. That is something to be aware of. You could search for dogs and replace that word with mice if you want. You can also make it keep the case of the word in mind. Make sure you check this help button. Since the ComfyUI help is harder to read, I am now adding a small help section to many nodes that explains the node. You can learn more about the advanced options like regex and so on, so explore and have some fun. Let me move now to a real workflow and see what this workflow does. If I run it, you can see that using the Gemma 4 model, we get a more detailed prompt for this cute cartoon bunny. Because we used that, most likely we get the word bunny in the long detailed prompt. So in the Find and Replace node, we can search for the word bunny and replace it with panda. You can see it found the word 2 times in the prompt and replaced it with panda. So now, in 2 seconds, we have another long prompt that could work for a panda. That prompt is going to the Z image workflow, and it will generate an image. The result is this cute panda. Now let's say I want a different animal. Instead of bunny, I want a turtle. Then I run the workflow again, and it only continues from here, since if you watch the previous episode, you know you need to change the seed in text generate to get more prompts. And this is the result for turtle. If I want a chicken, I can do that too, and I get something like this. So it is quite useful for me, and I hope it is useful for you too. Let me move now to the next node called XY Plot, which lets you test multiple settings at once. So in this Z image turbo workflow, we usually have a preview image or save image node after the VAE decode node. You run it once and can see the generated image. Now, instead of using a save image node, we can use the XY Plot Pixaroma node for testing. This node creates a grid. You have X across the columns and Y down the rows. Let's say we want to test a setting. The available settings depend on what is in your workflow. You can use this dropdown to select a setting, filter from here, or go through the settings one by one using the arrows. Let's say we want to change something in the prompt. I can pick the positive text encode prompt. Some workflows might also have a negative prompt, so make sure you pick the right one. You can see a small preview of what it is selecting, like the portrait photo text here. What we can do is use full list options. If we add one prompt per line, we can test those prompts and compare them. Or we can use Find and Replace, which is similar to the previous Find and Replace node, just a simpler version. So let's say I search for the word robot. Here you can enter replacement values, 1 per line. If I add cat on one line, there is only one value, so if I run it, I get a single image with a cat instead of a robot. If I add more text on the same line, it is still one value. To create a second value, it needs to be on a new line. So I leave dog on the first line, press enter and put cat on the second line, press enter again and add mouse on the third line. Now you can see there are 3 values, which means it will generate 3 images. If you want the original robot version too, add robot first before dog. That way you will have the original prompt and the new prompts with different animals. You can always check this button to preview the grid it will create. If I add another value, like elephant, it becomes 4 values and will generate 4 images. Let me run it so it makes more sense. When you press run, it generates all those images one by one into the grid. You can see I now have 4 images with those values shown in the grid labels. You can disable those labels if you want. If I click Open, I can see the grid. It shows that only the x-axis was used, and it contains those 4 values. This makes it easy to compare settings. Let me give you another example. We can also use the y-axis. I will reset X using these buttons. Now I will use full list and add simple prompts. These will not replace words in a prompt. These short texts become the prompts themselves. So now when I run it, it generates a cat, a dog, and a mouse in order. It is similar to other nodes we had for multiple prompts, but now everything is displayed as a grid. You can also test different widths and heights. Let's say I select width. you can choose either range or list. With list, you enter values separated by commas. With range, you enter a start value, an end value, and the number of steps. One step uses only the first value. 2 steps use the first and last values. 3 steps use the first, middle, and last values. 4 steps create 4 values between the start and end values, and so on. These should be integer values, but that is what happens when I record tutorials. I always find a new bug I did not know about. It happened because someone asked for decimal values in CFG ranges, and it also affected width and height ranges. It should be fixed by the time you watch this tutorial. So I will use 3 steps in this example. When I run it, I get 3 images. All of them use the height from the workflow, which in my case is 512 pixels. But each image has a different width based on the X settings. If I open the grid, you can see all 3 images with different widths. The height stayed at 512 pixels and only the width changed. For the height, I can use any value I want. I can use range again or a list. There are some examples here showing how to use it. If I add one height value, it shows one value. Since X has 3 values and Y has 1 value, we get 3 images. But if I add a second height value, we now get 6 images because there are 3 columns on X and 2 rows on Y. Let me run the workflow with those values. You can see it is generating all combinations of those values. You read the grid like a table. On the left is the height, and on top is the width. So we get every combination of the X and Y values. The result is a variety of image sizes. It will make more sense once you experiment with it yourself. I tried to make it simple to use, but it can still be a little complex to understand at first. You can also enable the Save Cells option. When that is enabled and you choose Save Output, it saves the grid and also saves each image from the grid as a separate image. Now in the Output folder, I have the grid image, and I also have a folder containing all 6 images individually. So it can be used not only for testing, but also for creating different banner sizes or social media formats limited to the X and Y combinations you choose. For the grid, by default it is dark, but you can change it to light, which gives you a white background and dark text, or mono, which uses dark and gray values. I will leave it on the default dark mode. We can reset all the values from this Reset XY button, and it will ask for confirmation. Let me do some more testing, like we usually do with new models, to see what settings work best. I will pick a sampler name. Let's say this one, maybe this one, and this one. So we have 3 samplers. Then let me pick some schedulers. Maybe I add simple, then Keras for the second one. You can add all of them if you want, but keep in mind they multiply and you can get a large number of images really fast. So now we have 9 images, because we combined 3 schedulers with 3 samplers. Let me remove one so we only have 6 images and it is faster. After I run it, it starts to generate combinations of those settings. You can see the first one is Euler with simple, the second one is hewn with Keras, and so on, until we have all combinations. And from the start, we can see that with these steps and CFG, the Keras scheduler does not work so well. So after testing, we can choose the settings we like and use them in the workflow. Let me reset and try something else. You can test a few diffusion models with the same settings or different LoRa strengths. Let me pick some random Z image models just for testing. I will search for Z, then maybe select Turbo and this other one that probably needs more steps to work, but at least we can see the difference. Let me run it. This will be slower since it has to load the first model, generate the image, then load the second model, and generate again. You have this option to lock the seed. That way it always uses the same seed, even if the workflow is set to use a random seed, so it is easier to see the differences. So we got our results. As you can see, Turbo worked fine with only a few steps like I had in the workflow, but the BF16 version was not a Turbo model, so it needs more steps to become fully formed. Let me reset and do a different test. Let's see how an image is formed at different step counts. I will start with 1 step and end with 7 steps, so that will generate 7 images in total. Let me run it. Now we can see how the image develops at each step. If I open it larger, you can see that one step is not enough, and around 5 steps it starts to look good. It can become a little more detailed after that, but at some point there is no real improvement. More steps take more time, so we need a balance between quality and speed. In this case, around 5 steps works well. So now you do not have to guess which settings are better. You can put them to the test, let the workflow run a lot of combinations, take a break, and when you come back, you can note which settings worked best. And when you want to save the images, enable Save Cells and click Save Output. You will get a folder with all those images, and you can browse through them one by one. You could even make a GIF animation showing how the images formed. And do not forget to check the Help section to learn more about the node.
That is all for today. Thank you, legends, and everyone who subscribed to the membership. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave a like and a comment to help with the YouTube algorithm. GitHub suspended my account. Why GitHub? Why? I need a break. Yeah! Have a great day.